The 79th General Assembly of the United Nations holds its last day of debates amid tensions due to increasing armed conflicts and the challenges facing the planet. In Mexico, President Andrés Manuel Lopez Obrador ended his transition tour ahead of the swearing-in ceremony of President-elect Claudia Sheinbaum. In Lebanon, authorities report at least 109 dead and 364 wounded after a recent attack by Israeli troops in Beirut, where the number of displaced persons could exceed 1 million. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The 79th General Assembly of the United Nations is to conclude this day of debate amid tensions due to armed conflicts and the challenges facing the planet. During this session, the main issues addressed have been peace and security and the advancement of sustainable development goals for present and future generations. In spite of the efforts of international order, an increase of tensions and aggressions in the Middle East has been reported in the last days, together with the escalations in conflicts in Ukraine, Sudan, Myanmar, and the intensification of violence in Haiti. In this context, the World Leaders Meeting adopted a pact that projects a reform of world governance focused on the rescue of multilateralism to strengthen the Union and the principles of global politics. In this regard, while addressing the United Nations General Assembly, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates of Syria, Bassam Sabak, referred to the international escalation in tensions and the threat they pose to peace and security worldwide.
As this session of the General Assembly is taking place, tensions internationally have reached a boiling point, and efforts to maintain international peace and security are confronted with real challenges and threats. Clashes are intensifying, crises are multiplying, conflicts are escalating, chaos is spreading, terrorism is gaining ground, the global economy is faltering, poverty rates are rising, climate change is accelerating, and development indicators are lagging. These are the unfortunate results of 8 decades of multilateral action that have followed the establishment of the United Nations.
Also at the United Nations General Assembly, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Nicaragua denounced in his speech the extermination of cultures and people's rights maintained by colonialist and imperialist powers.
We denounce and condemn the genocide that the government of Israel and its First World allies have committed, commit, and continue to commit against the glorious people of Palestine, against the courageous people of Lebanon, and against so many other brave, valiant, dignified people. None of us will yield to brutality. We are not silent. We will never be silent. We denounce and condemn the aggressions against Syria, Iran, and against all other great peoples in their struggles. We stand with our brothers on all continents. We will never be silent. We denounce and condemn the occupation and hijacking of the rights of peoples such as Haiti. We are not silent. We will never be silent. We denounce and condemn the systematic policy of extermination of cultures and rights that colonial imperialist powers visit upon peoples, governments, and countries who, like Cuba, Venezuela, Bolivia, Nicaragua, are members of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America. ALBA is a strategic unit with which we defend our sovereignty, independence, and legitimate models of institutions, our models of self-governance and direct and participative democracy. We denounce and condemn the...
As the last day of the 79th United Nations General Assembly is underway, we go to the UN headquarters in New York, where teleSUR Special Envoy Jorge Sosos has more about today's addresses.
Thank you. Last day of this 79th General Assembly here in the United Nations in New York. There are 17 countries participating this morning, among them Nicaragua and Ecuador. Nicaragua has already took his turn and present their vision, mostly denouncing the extension of war as a method of the imperialism and the capitalism, they say that savage method, that they're trying to sell it mostly as the paradise, and in reality is a hell. Also denounced the genocide of Israel in Gaza, denounced the attacks, the aggressions against the people of the Lebanon, Syria, Haiti, and of course, talking about our region, about Cuba and Venezuela. Also, he denounces the climate change problem that most of you say definitely demands climate justice, something that is not taking place. And at the very end of his speech, he also reminded all the audience what they call basically the interference of the global north in our region. We're talking about what has been done and it's still done in Venezuela, in Bolivia, in Cuba, and also he mentioned we at Nicaragua knows extremely well what that interference represents. The case of Ecuador is going to be the previous to the last member this morning to speak. President Noboa has a big situation, a complicated situation in his country where mostly narco trafficking, they have incredible big fires, they have also the case of a shortage of electricity, all that is done. And he was proposing the installation of military bases in his country, something that sounds the alarms of many participants here, including Russia and also St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're going to continue to follow what's going on in this last session, and we get back to you now.
Let's now take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. The transition tour led by Mexican President Andrés Manuel Lopez Obrador ended on Sunday ahead of the swearing-in ceremony of President-elect Claudia Sheinbaum set for Tuesday, October 1st. The opening of the Mayan train station, Chetumal, marks the end of the administration of outgoing head of state Andrés Manuel Lopez Obrador. President-elect Claudia Sheinbaum, who accompanied him on his tour, made some statements. Firstly, she thanked the staff involved in the Mexican Heritage Project for its implementation. In addition, Sheinbaum appreciated AMLO's support and ensured to be ready to take office. And the President of Honduras, Xiomara Castro, officially arrived in Mexico to attend the inauguration of the President-elect Claudia Sheinbaum, which will take place on October 1st. According to local media, the Honduran President was received by the authorities and the National Army at the Benito Juarez International Airport located in the capital city of Mexico, after traveling on a commercial flight from Tegucigalpa. This as part of the arrival of high-ranking international officials to the Felipe Ángeles International Airport to witness the inauguration. It's important to point out that the Foreign Affairs Minister of Honduras, Enrique Reina, announced that the President Xiomara Castro plans to meet with the elected Mexican president to discuss cooperation ties between both countries.
Well, for now I think it will be, as is logical, the greetings she will make and the meetings she may have with President Lopez Obrador and the presidential agenda with the new president of Mexico. And well, we will see if in this space there is any other space for conversation.
Definitely, as I repeat, the intention is to strengthen even more the ties, not only of friendship that have traditionally united us with Mexico, but to take this relationship a little further from the point of view of trade, to strengthen our commercial relations and above all of cooperation between both countries.
Also, the President of Cuba, Miguel Díaz-Canel, arrived in Mexico City to participate in the inauguration of Claudia Sheinbaum. The President was received at the Felipe Ángeles International Airport by Dr. David Kirschner-Bobich, who will assume the post of Secretary of Health in the incoming government. Likewise, the Cuban national leader is expected to hold several meetings in the Mexican nation, accompanied by his Cuban delegation formed by the Foreign Affairs Minister Bruno Rodriguez Parrilla, Emilio Lozada, Eugenio Martinez, and Ambassador Marcos Rodriguez. And in Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum is hours away from taking office as the country's first woman president. In this context, citizens give their opinion on the three main challenges she will have to face. Let's see the details with our correspondent Antonio Aranda.
On October 1st, Claudia Sheinbaum takes office as Mexico's first female president, and among the population there are positive expectations about her arrival, one of which is the reinforcement of the national security strategy.
We are going to do well with her. She is the first woman president. We have hope that there will be more security. I come from the state of Mexico, and there are many assaults, and as a woman, I feel there is a lot of violence against women.
In this regard, Claudia Sheinbaum has mentioned that the recent incorporation of the National Guard into the Ministry of Defense will contribute to reducing the levels of violence without militarizing the country.
Militarization means that there is a military command that is making decisions, and the decisions are made by the commander of the armed forces. It is a civilian power.
Another issue that Mexicans see as an immediate challenge is to keep the economy Indiana positive numbers.
I believe that certain changes should be made gradually as the previous government had done. Things are not done in 6 years. But if they give continuity as they mentioned, it seems to me that everything would go well. Besides, the economy is working with the support they have given.
Sheinbaum has expressed confidence in the strengths of the Mexican economy left by her predecessor, thanks to public works, private investment, and social programs.
There are enormous strengths of our economy that allow us to maintain the domestic market strengthened by public works, private investment. Welfare programs and salary increases, even if there are changes in the exchange rate against the dollar.
On political and international issues, citizens expect the future president to maintain a firm stance towards the U.S. government.
The figure of authority as president should be firm, regardless of the role that the U.S. government plays as part of being a strategic ally together with Mexico and Canada. I think the position should remain firm.
On relations with the U.S., Sheinbaum assures that if Donald Trump wins the presidency, she will work with him for the integration of the two nations.
I believe that it is responsible on our part, and furthermore it is established in the Constitution, the self-determination of peoples and beyond a personal opinion. I believe that particularly in a relationship as important as the one we have with the United States, we must have respect for who the people of the United States decide and always defend Mexico and not allow Mexico to be used as the central element of the campaign.
She will also have to tackle the implementation of a national citizen system, maintain public investment in large projects, and expand the beneficiary base of social programs, without increasing public debt. Analysts believe that one of the greatest political challenges that Claudia Sheinbaum will have to face will be to convince citizens that she is not subject to Lopez Obrador and to put her own stamp on taking the reins of government.
Antonio Aranda, teleSUR, Ciudad de México.
The Executive Vice President and Oil Minister of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, thanked the Vice President of the Republic of Turkey, Cevdet Yilmaz, after meeting on Monday to discuss the strengthening of bilateral relations. During the meetings, both officials discussed the expansion of their cooperation in strategic areas such as energy, education, tourism, food, and trade. Afterwards, through a statement, Vice President Rodriguez expressed her gratitude on behalf of President Nicolas Maduro and highlighted the relationship between Venezuela and Turkey as a tangible example of how cooperation based on mutual respect can generate concrete benefits for both peoples. Furthermore, the Venezuelan Vice President thanked her Turkish counterpart for the consistent support of his nation and his firm stance in calling for the cessation of unilateral coercive measures maintained by the U.S. against Venezuela and denounced once again the Zionist genocide against Palestine. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Found short break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Monday, Hezbollah assured that as in 2006 they will defeat Israel and their plans remain unshakable. Deputy Secretary General of the organization, Naim Qassem, denied the Israeli narrative of the assassination of the Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah and accused the regime of murdering civilians, especially women, children and medical personnel throughout the territory. The leader recounted the combat activities they have maintained and confirmed that their militias are ready for a hand-to-hand battle if the Zionist troops venture into a land incursion.
Despite losing a large number of leaders, including Nasrallah, and despite all the sacrifices that the whole world is seeing on the battlefield that has touched our loved ones, we will not move a millimeter from our battle line to confront the Israeli enemy, defend the Palestinian cause, and defend Lebanon. Look at what happened after the assassination of the Secretary General. The activities of the Islamic resistance continue with the same rhythm. We reached villages deep in the land occupied by Israel. We have hit Haifa. Haifa was hit by our missiles. The Israeli enemy knew only yesterday that 1 million people have been displaced because of a single missile that we have launched at Haifa. And that is only the beginning.
Sheikh Qassem also referred to the possibility of an Israeli military ground incursion, assuring that they are ready for hand-to-hand battle.
We will face any situation if the Israelis decide to make a land incursion. Our forces are ready and prepared for a close fight if they enter by land. The Israeli enemy will not achieve its objectives, and we will end up triumphant in this great battle.
Deputy Secretary welcomed the national unity in Lebanon and thanked the government, the people, and the health personnel for their strong displays of courage and solidarity.
I want to thank all Lebanese who have shown great national unity. That has been reflected in all Lebanese people, in all religions, in all families. This shows and reflects our Lebanese dignity.
Also in Lebanon, authorities report at least 109 people killed and 364 wounded after the recent attack by Israeli troops in southwest and central Beirut. According to local media, the Lebanese authorities reported that the Tel Aviv regime's army orchestrated in the morning hours a systematic bombardment against a neighborhood in the city of Sidon, located southwest of Beirut, where at least 40 civilians were killed. While recently an Israeli aircraft entered Lebanese airspace and attacked for the first time the center of the Lebanese capital by bombing a residential building in the Al-Qola district. So far, specialists are working on the search for survivors of the disaster and looking for the bodies of more victims in the area. In this regard, the Lebanese government warned that the number of displaced persons as a consequence of the Israeli aggressions against the country could exceed 1 million. The Lebanese interim Prime Minister Najib Mikati warned that about 778 shelters are hosting 118,000 citizens, while it is estimated that the number of displaced people could be higher. In this regard, the Prime Minister added that the state is fulfilling its duties to attend to the victims and to face the Israeli persecution. He also assured that the security forces will intensify their measures to protect shelters and displaced persons with the aim of ensuring peace and security in the endangered areas. Meanwhile, in Palestine, an Israeli bombardment of a refugee camp near the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital killed at least 6 people and wounded several others. Health authorities confirmed that rescue teams are still deployed. However, the Israeli occupation is preventing efforts to reach the wounded. Local media reported that the Israeli army intensified its bombardment against the southern neighborhoods of Gaza City. Local sources said displaced people were taking refuge near the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital after the occupation army claimed that it was a safe area where the refugees could avoid Tel Aviv's military attacks.
Our tent is back here. We were sleeping peacefully and suddenly we heard heavy shelling, and we ran out to see what was going on, and to see who was martyred, and who was wounded. Why are they doing this to us? We were sleeping. Why are the Jews doing all this to us? Have mercy on us. Even in the hospital they attacked us, people had to flee. Here in the tents they also attacked us. The shrapnel hit the people who were sleeping. The shrapnel fell very close to us while we were sleeping.
On Sunday, Argentinians celebrate the 60th anniversary of popular Mafalda comic strip written by Joaquín Salvador Lavado Tejón, also known as Kino. At a Buenos Aires square, locals and visitors enjoy murals on inflatable Mafaldas. The comic strip, which was first issued at the Primera Plana, Argentinian journal, tells the story of Mafalda, an Argentinian precocious girl from a middle-class family of San Telmo who makes remarks on the predicaments of our society. The strip was published for 9 years in a row and tackled main concerning issues such as inflation, political instability, and even history, touching on relevant events. For all its deep and social contents, Mafalda has been a reading classic for people of all ages. On its anniversary, some readers shared their opinions. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.